Aloha, one and all. This is Mistakes Were Made. We are at the dining room table and we are going to do our first cash stuffing for it's our second cash stuffing for September. And this one is going to be for the second pay period. So let's see what we're working with. We've got 100, 200, 300, 50, 400, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So $510. Okay. So first things first, we are going to start with AAA. This is going to be the first cash stuffing since we did pull the money out because our subscription renewed. They are going to get $13. So we've got 10, 11, 12, 13. And as we've discussed in previous ones, this is a slight change to how much we had funded in previously. We were able to skip last time. Today is the 16th. And, excuse me. This amount should get us to, I think, right around $150 as well. Which should be a little bit more than what at least what the current subscription cost is. So, did I actually write 13 down or did I only write the date? I only wrote the date. Okay, $13. There we go. All right. Okie dokie, birthdays is going to get $12. So let's see where we are with that. Now I've already gifted one of my nephews their birthday present, so the money that we're saving here is for that second nephew at this point, and his birthday is coming up, and I still have no idea what he wants or needs. So we have 20, 40, 55, 56, 57. But if it's anything like usual, it'll probably be some kind of game for the Switch, which seems to be the standard. Okay. Put that back there. Car maintenance does not get anything during this pay period. Oh, and I forgot to say, welcome back if you have been following our channel, and if you are new, welcome. We do not fund all of these every single pay period. Some are first pay period, some are second pay period, and some are both pay periods. Christmas, I believe, is one of those that is both pay periods, and it gets $12. So how's everybody been doing? We've had a pretty okay weekend this past weekend. It was my mother's 75th birthday, so we enjoyed going over to her house and mix and mingling with some of her friends and co-workers, and hanging out with some of the family and everything. So that was really nice. Other than that, I was trying to think. I feel like I picked, whatever you want to call it, about 9 billion tomatoes. We have so many tomatoes. I think we're up to 10-gallon freezer bags of them in our freezers, which is fine. It means that we're able to maintain the harvest that we have without it going bad and being wasted. And then we'll just make sauce, when the weather is a little bit more cooperative. It's always kind of a shame that harvest season tends to fall when the weather is still pretty hot. So if you want to do preserving, especially if it involves canning, that can be a little bit trying. Okay, so where are we for Christmas? We've got 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 200, 10, 25, 26, 27, 28. So $228. Okay. So hopefully your guys' weekends were as eventful as you would like them to be. Let's see. Don't really have a whole lot that we going on. Clothing is going to get $5. I'm kind of sad to say that our lives are pretty boring. We spend much of it at home, not really doing anything. We watch TV, well, not TV too much. Mostly it's like Netflix or Prime, because I'm not fond of commercials. But we do that. We eat our food and we go to work. Now, the weekends tend to be a little bit better, depending on the weekend itself. Those have more opportunities for us to either be out in the garden and doing yard work and stuff, or being out in nature, going hiking and things like that. We do not do dining or entertainment during this pay period. Oh, or garden yard, actually. Gas gets $100. So we'll just, nope, 250s. If you watched our previous video, you know that we actually didn't spend the entire $100 for gas last time. We only spent $40, but because the leftover was such a large amount, instead of just leaving it in the envelope to be handled however, we did take it out and put it back into the checking account. So, and that's kind of the plan for these envelopes. If we have a situation where we're paying something off, and this is more specific to the ones that get refreshed either every month or every pay period. If it's going to be over the amounts we have leftovers, over $20, maybe $25, then we are just going to take that and deposit it back into the checking account, so it will be counted as part of the monies for determining debt and savings payments. If it's less than that, then what we'll probably do is we will see how we want to distribute it within the cash envelopes we have, for items that do have like a deadline, not a deadline, but a stop point. So for example, gifts, the most we will ever fund this up to is $300. So if we had $20 left from the gas, we might have made the decision to do an extra stuffing into gifts to kind of push it along. As far as it's concerned for today, it does get $5. And so we're at $5, $10, $15, $20 total. All right. Oops. There we go. Oh, boy, oh boy. There we go. I will put out there, for those of you who've been around, you know, kind of the whole job situation is kind of weirdo, and I haven't necessarily been putting myself out there as strongly as maybe some people would have in this situation. The main reason being the amount of money that I'm currently making is more than I am seeing being offered in available jobs currently. So at least for right now, it doesn't make sense for me to jump from a job that's paying me well and helping us with our debt process to go to a new job that's going to pay potentially significantly less. And then miss out on the benefits of that increase, that higher pay for however many months or weeks it would have been. Now, obviously, once my job goes away, then, we're going to reassess how, what I determine is going to be something I would be willing to apply for. But I want to be really, really careful because I will be filing for unemployment. And if I apply for a job that pays, $13 an hour, which, there's nothing wrong with working for $13 an hour. It's just our budget will not allow for that. I have to make more money than that. But if I apply for one and I get a job offer for it and I turn it down, then I will no longer be eligible for unemployment money. Because from what I understand, unemployment will only augment you if you are working fewer hours than full time. They don't care how much you're actually making. So I need to be very careful that what I put myself out there for is going to meet our minimum to maintain our budget. Now, right now, I am actually only looking at jobs that have a higher wage than what our bare minimum would be, simply because, if I'm going to move to something, I would much rather it be at a higher wage and closer to what I'm making now than lower. And I did find one that I felt comfortable applying to. We'll see how it goes. I have applied to that same, it's not a company, it's with the government, but that same area, just a different job function. And I got the old, hey, thank you for applying, but we're moving forward with people that are better fits, which, hey, they need to have the best people for the job. So suffice to say, long story not short at all, I am not feeling necessarily super confident that I will even get a call back. I have not received a call back for anything that I have applied for, though I'll be honest, this is the first job that I've found that kind of fit all of my more expansive criteria that I am putting in place right now while I do still have a job. So it's been a little while since I've applied for something. So we'll see. We will see what happens. Grocery is going to get $300 because this is a magic month for groceries for us, because we count the number of weeks starting with Monday. And this is a month that has 5 Mondays. 3 of them fall within the second pay period. So 1, 2, 3. Next is health, which gets $10. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned it. I skipped over, I think it was giving. Giving does not get funded this month, or this pay period, sorry. All right. Ugh, I'm making a mess. Okay, so $10 for health. We have 10, 20, 30. I had to buy some supplements. Oh my gosh, those are expensive. So expensive. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I had to dip into health to help pay for that, which, that makes sense. That's why it's there. But it's a little costly. Okay, so we've got $30 for health. Household is a weirdo. We're not funding it here, but I want to make it look tidy. License and fees is going to get $11. And I think I really need to change this because I think we made the new limit that I was going to stop funding at be $200 instead of $250. We'll see if we make it there. All right, so we have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 85, 95, 105, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42, $142 so far. Now, the next time that we should have to delve into this, the last time was in June when I did my driver license renewal. The next time we'll delve into this will be in March-ish when I pay my business license, which should only be $100 this year. Next year it should be $150. I'm pretty sure we did $150 this current year. So but that's in March of next year, so we have plenty of time to get this bulked up to where it needs to be. I mean, it's already there for the 100, but to kind of give ourselves a little jump start for the next year. Miscellaneous, we do not have anything at this time. I guess I'll hold it aside just in case. Normally, we would be doing $160 for pets, but we just had our Chewy delivery for food and some toys that came to $150. So we are only going to add $10 in here. It just didn't make any sense to me for us to pull money out, stuff it, and then immediately put it back in because we had already been charged the $150. So we have 50, 100, 50, 200, 50, 70, 90, 300, 10, 25, 35, 40, $340. Just trying to remember what it is that we needed to buy for pets that dropped us down a little bit. Dog hair. But I can't remember. It might have been like a couple of cans of squishy food to give to them as an extra treat. Oh, no, Mr. M also bought a new chew toy for them because they have gnawed most of the ones that they have down to nubs. So he got one at just the regular grocery store, and then I ordered 3 more so that each one of them can have a toy. They will all probably end up in Spot's kennel because he is a hoarder. And so every night we have to take him out and throw them into the middle of the room so everybody can attempt to have some opportunity to play with them. Prime is going to get... So the reason why we're seeing this guy again is I had to do some consolidating stuff. And I ended up pulling this one out to reconfigure. So this one cracks me up. I'm glad that one came out and about again. That's funny. All right. I hadn't realized that I actually pulled that was one of the ones that I pulled out to get our numbers right, because I went to the ATM instead of going into the bank to pull money for what we needed, and then I just kind of did swaps so that we could get the denominations we needed out of stuff that was already in here. because it only gave me like 50s and 20s. So I didn't realize that I had pulled that, but that's funny. Okay, so for Prime, we've got 50, 70, 80, 90, 200, 100. What am I doing? 10, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32. $132. Oops. And I want to say that our Prime cost is 130 something, $139 maybe. So we are almost at the point where this is fully funded. And if once this is fully funded, we will probably stop putting money into it until January comes around. So our cash envelope costs might be a little bit less in the interim couple of months that we still have, because that does not come due until December. Or we may continue to pull the $12 that we give to Prime and just use it to augment something else that could use a little bit of a boost. Now, taxes, it's getting a little full in here, gets $20. And I think I mentioned during the last video that with all of the concern that I had about whether we would have enough money to cover what we're anticipating the tax ramifications for the minor sales that we're making on Etsy would be, now that things are starting to slow down, I probably didn't need to be so worried and do quite as much. I mean, we only augmented, a total of $21, it looks like. But I may not have needed to even worry about that. I want to say when I did go to check, because I wasn't sure if this extra $6 was we were still going to be light, or if we were going to be right where we needed to be, or if we were going to be a little heavy. And I want to say that we are like $2 over or something like that. So we have added this $20, and that may end up putting us ahead. And if when I go and I check my spreadsheet, because we have not had, just spoiler alert for the recap coming up for the end of the pay period, we have not had any sales for Etsy this week, no, we didn't have any last week. And so far, we haven't had any this week. And I count, Sunday as the start of the week. So we'll see where things land. There's a great possibility that we won't have any for this pay period. Who knows? And so then we'll be ahead. And if that's the case, then we might put funding this on hiatus, at least until more sales come in, and then we can see where we stand and whether we need to continue funding or if we'll be good for a couple of pay periods. Because this is one that we typically would fund both pay periods. But where are we at? 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 10, 20, 30, 5, 40, 5, 50, 1, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. So $358. I am pretty sure we are well over where we need to be at this point, but obviously any sales that come through, we will need to continue to assess and see where things land. Now, because our sales aren't, crazy and off the top, I do have business expenses, things like that also will have impact on how much profit is actually been made. There's an excellent chance that we are way overboard in the amount that the taxes will be. It may be that even with the income that that I'm bringing in from Etsy, I end up getting a tax refund without, doing anything crazy or even considering this money. So if that ends up being the case, we are funding our taxes each year. So any money that's in here that we don't actually need for our taxes, we will find a different home for. Whether that ends up being paying additional towards debt or funding more in the cash envelopes, or maybe even funding some of our longer term goals with a bigger infusion of money. All of those are options. But I did want to throw that out there because, I want to make sure I'm prepared in case there is a ramification that means I need to pay taxes. But if that doesn't end up happening and I end up getting a refund despite the income that's come in from Etsy, then we'll have essentially another savings bucket right here that has $350 whatever we said dollars in it plus, and we'll be able to find something to do with that. All right, savings, we don't do anything with that. Somebody asked about, no, I don't need that little note. What our, how our junk removal goal is going. As you can see, we have all $500 still. So the junk removal is not going at all. I did poke Mr. M today, in fact, and I was like, hey, you know how you were all head up about we need junk removal to be the first thing that we're funding after the garden, and you're tired of all this stuff doing. Where are we at? Where are we at, honey? He's like, well, yeah, it's getting a little bit cooler now, so I got to get working on that. So I was like, all right. So we are nowhere on junk removal at this time, but hopefully we'll have a different update soon. Luckily, we do have the money there waiting. Of course, depending on how much we try to get rid of, the $500 could be light. Just don't know. If that ends up being the case, what we'll probably do is the money that we have saved up virtually, because it's just in a savings account for right now, for yard cleanup, we'll pull from there, and we'll just, have to be a little bit behind on the yard cleanup piece. I'm hoping that the $500 will be plenty. We'll just have to wait and see. But speaking of yard cleanup, each pay period we get $100 that goes to savings. And so the next one hasn't actually transferred yet, but I want to get it documented just so I don't forget and it doesn't get lost in the process. So we'll go ahead and fill in our coins. We're going to have a lovely rainbow of coins here. And let's let that dry a smidge. All right, so now we're going to put $100. So far we have $500 saved towards this goal. So we are a fifth of the way for our yard cleanup. Now, considering, the fact that this jar, we won't fill it up with just the amount for yard cleanup, probably, because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we'll get, you know, almost to the top. I may reuse this for another tracker, or maybe start at the top and work my way down if we get to a point where we want to be funding multiple things. What's coming to mind right now is we typically every end of October, middle of November, we'll go up to one of the orchards over in Hood River and get a bunch of apples. And that's so that Mr. M can make his cider and I can make a bunch of applesauce. And then we'll also take some apples and slice them up and dehydrate them as a snack to bring with us when we go on our little mini road trips and stuff like that. Not sure if we're going to actually do the apple chips this year. We still have some that we made, was it in 2023? I think it was in 2023, and there's like half a bag left. So we may skip that one in favor of just going all in on the cider and the applesauce, but we'll have to see. But anyway, we are $500 closer to meeting our $2,500 goal, which again, we just kind of came up with that dollar amount. I have no idea how much it might cost to have somebody come in and do an initial tear out and clean up of all of those blackberry bushes and the ivy and any other stuff that's hidden in there. It could be more than that, but we figured $2,500 was a good starting point. And then if we can bring one or two people in to kind of assess it, let us know what they think they would expect to be paid on that, then we'll have a better idea of whether we're right where we need to be, too low or too high. So that, my friends, is the end of our cash stuffing. Miscellaneous, we did not end up needing to put anything in. Now, one thing I did want to chat about really quickly, because we're already over 30 minutes. Once the Discover card is paid off, which fingers crossed, I work all the way through November, which means we would be able to pay Discover off by the end of December. The next goal that we will be funding as far as our debt is concerned will be Mr. M's credit card. This is not one that is shared between the two of us. It is one that is in his name only, as well as his car, which is also in his name only. So my car is in my name only, but it is paid off at this point. What we will probably change how we do our debt payment process, especially because by that point we will most likely be dealing with the job loss. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but that seems to be the most likely situation. And so instead of having a dedicated debt amount that goes to debt every pay period or month, we are trying to decide if we want to take that debt payment out of the budget but keep the budget as it is, just take that amount out as a line item so that we will have money left over at the end of each month or each pay period, and then decide how to divvy up the leftover that way. And if we go that route, then I'm thinking we will still do that 0, 25, 50, 75 rule that I've been doing so far. We won't have anything that will go to savings because we'll be pulling from savings to fund some of the costs. But any extra, because we're looking at doing that weird thing that I do, we might go and put towards savings challenges. Savings challenges aren't really something that I've been able to do, and I'm not great at them. So that piece is a little bit iffy, but we'll have to just see. That's very far in the future as far as I'm concerned, at least a couple of months. But I just figured I'd put that out there as kind of a heads up. So that is the end of our cash stuffing. I very much appreciate you taking the time to watch. As always, if you have any feedback, if you have questions, if you just want to say hi, please note that down below, and we'll see you in the next one.